Alright, this is part 2 of leveling my backyard for an above ground pool. So in the first video, I showed you how to get a really rough cut of removing the topsoil, engaging really how level your backyard is. So for example, this side of my yard is about 5 inches higher than all the way to the left over here. And so I've had to remove quite a bit of soil. And once you do that, you're probably going to end up with a lot of pocketed areas like this, where I've just kind of dug off the topsoil along with the sod. And now what I'm doing is I have this 2x4, short by about 1.5 feet, but I'm going to extend it out later on in the project. What I got here is a 4-foot level mounted to it. The level will indicate, based off of 2 locations, the center and then all the way across if it's level. And this point here is the same elevation as the lowest point over here. I know that because I used my water level to mark both points. Another way you could do it is just start off at this point, and then once you get level, you know that this point all the way to here is level, and then you could just swing this all the way around. So I've seen people build these on YouTube. They typically will drive a large nail or screw or bolt through this into some type of platform they've buried, some wooden stake or something. I don't want to pay any money for anything additional, so I found an old fan motor, and that's my pivot point. Is I've buried the fan motor, and then the end cap where the shaft comes out of, the end cap I've just screwed into this like so, and then there's the shaft for the motor, and so this just hooks into place, and then as I rotate, it stays into its one location down there. What I like about it is it allows me to come pretty far up and down before it actually disengages, and I'd be able to set it up on a higher point like this without having to bend the bolt or the nail. And so as you can see here, I still, to get this area level, need to go down maybe 2 inches. So the plan here is to continue to swing this apparatus around all the way until I get back to my starting point. And I'd say probably this first path is a little bit rough, and the second path is going to be a lot easier because it'll be just smoothing it out. My recommendation for this section is 2 tools. You have your pickaxe and then flat blade shovel. Don't use one of those spade shovels because it's gonna dig in, and you want to use something flat. And so what you can do is first come through with your pickaxe and have your board pretty close to the depth so you can see how far you need to actually dig in, and then with the blade portion you can just dig right into it. And then as you work that with 2 hands, it actually go a lot deeper. You can work that all the way through. I'll probably dig out about this much of a section, and it goes narrower as it goes in. Dig out this much of a section. With a pickaxe, just breaking it up. Don't go too deep. It's really easy with the blade portion to stay right on the surface, especially as you're just lining it up with the area you've already flattened out. Then you come by with your shovel and forcefully just shove it into the area that you just dug out, and then as you scoop it up, you end up with a really flat surface. You can just continue doing that around. So this tool's pretty cheap. 2x4s are cheap. You can get a big level like this at Harbor Freight for I don't know, like 10-15 bucks. I wouldn't recommend skipping out on the flat blade shovel. So let's talk about how much dirt I've removed. So it really looks like I haven't removed that much dirt. So we've got about a 19-foot diameter. This area is not very deep. The deepest is over here towards the shed. And based off of my estimation, I probably have around 8 wheelbarrows left of dirt to dig out until it's very level, just with a little rough high spots. And so at the moment, I'll talk as I walk, I've dug out 36 loads, wheelbarrow loads. And so you can see over here the pile I've been adding to. This is about 36 wheelbarrow loads. It's quite a bit of dirt. And then over here, I have a little bit more. That's only two wheelbarrow loads worth. Try saying that 5 times over fast. And that's where I used to keep my dirt piles from when I would do like fence work. And then that's kind of, it's not really hidden by the house. So I started this huge pile. So this kind of project is best done with something, some heavy machinery like a skid steer or a front loader of some sort. But I really didn't want to pay for something like that, even though the rentals can be relatively cheap. This is a project I just work on about a daily to every other day basis, and I'll just do 1 to 4 wheelbarrows depending on how I'm feeling. And you know, over a couple weeks I've gotten up to 36 loads, and I've only got 8 more. The hardest part, I'd say, was taking the sod off the top, along with all these, how deep the roots can go in a lot of this stuff. This portion of doing this last couple inches really isn't that bad. It really helps out to have these 2 tools and then the precision that this wood adds. Let me see if there's any other advice. Oh, so I mean, I wouldn't go to a junkyard and buy, you know, something as silly as this. I just didn't want to spend any money. And so I'd recommend looking around your place, see what you have that you could create a pivot point in the middle to be able to swing it. And that might require you to go to Home Depot and buy a long nail or a bolt or whatever. But if you're like me and you just keep random parts from old repairs, you can make it work for free. So I'm not saying that this is like the best design where you need an old fan motor. I just thought it was pretty interesting because it didn't cost me any money and it works out really well. And then the very last portion, what I'll do is just dig that out and then just use the level and compact that all in, which I'm going to be compacting all this. Once I dig it all and it's relatively flat, I'm going to use a plate compactor to really make this area nice and flat and compacted. So yeah, if you have any questions, just ask down in the comment section. I'll try to answer them.